Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In continuation of our discussion on work physiology, that is the topic 1-6, we will discuss another ergonomic assessment tool related to this topic, that is muscle fatigue assessment. We discussed BOD scale in the previous segment. Here we discuss this MFA muscle fatigue assessment, and here we will see that partially this method relates to the BOD scale as well. So this was proposed by Rogers as a means to assess the amount of fatigue that accumulates in muscles during various work patterns. So sort of an indirect measure of amount of fatigue that can accumulate in muscles. The hypothesis was that a rapidly fatiguing muscle is more susceptible to injury and inflammation. If fatigue can be minimized, so should injuries and illnesses of the active muscles. So it gives us a value of fatigue, and of course we can target to reduce it if it is beyond a acceptable limit. So eventual possible illness and injuries can be avoided. This method for job analysis is the most appropriate to evaluate the risk for fatigue accumulation in tasks that are performed for 1 hour or more than 1 hour. And it is most appropriate where awkward postures or frequent exertions are present. So if the posture for certain body parts, as we will see, is awkward, or there are frequent exertions or force requirements for a task. Based on the risk of fatigue, a priority for change score from low to very high can be assigned to the task. So we will see that we will obtain a 3-digit code for different body parts, and we will convert that score to priority for change ranging from low to very high. The first step is to divide the job into tasks and determine what % of the shift each task is done. In addition, the analyst identifies which tasks are perceived as difficult by people on the job. So we can say that these are two ways to select a task or the job to be analyzed. So the analysis is performed on the primary tasks that are done for more than 10% of the shift. This is one criteria. The second is any tasks considered difficult, no matter how much of the job they constitute. So once the task has been selected based on any of these two criteria, then for each body region within the task, the 3 MFA factors are assessed by assigning each factor a rating by category. So for each body region, we will see which body regions are there. We have 3 factors, so we assign a score for each factor. So we receive a 3-digit score for each body region. And then we convert that score into priority for change. So what are those 3 factors? They are effort level for the different body regions, effort duration, and effort frequency. So within a body region, once an effort level is chosen to represent the task, the assignment of continuous effort time and efforts per minute should be associated with the chosen effort. So the real or the starting point is the effort level, and correspondingly we can find effort duration and effort frequency, because these two, effort duration and frequency, are quantitative, so they are easy to find. Based on video recording, we can find the duration of the effort as well as frequency. But this effort level is sort of subjective. So we will see how we can find effort level. So this is the part of this MFA sheet. So you have to write the title of the job, the person who is analyzing. So there could be different tasks in a job. So you can select one task or more than one task, but you have to perform different analysis if there are more than one tasks in a job. Percent of shift time and day, or you can add some other information as well. So the three factors are this effort level. Now, if the effort level, you can see effort level can have a score of 1, 2, or 3. But if the effort cannot be exerted by most people, enter 4. So here under effort, we can have 1, 2, 3, or 4. And 4 will be there if it is extremely difficult task and it cannot be performed. The effort cannot be applied by most of the people in that population. So some authors have defined the most to be, say, 70% or greater than 70% people in that population. Then we have a score for duration and frequency. So these two can be easily calculated. Now, so for example, if we have a score of 3 for effort, say 2 for duration, and say 3 for frequency, so we can convert this 3-digit score for each body part into a priority from low to very high under this column. So we are talking about neck, but we will perform similar analysis for shoulders, back, and some other parts of the body as well. So you can see that for shoulder, we have to assign score for both right and left shoulders. So there will be a 3-digit score, and then we will assign a priority rating. So effort level can have a score of 1, 2, 3, or 4. And we have duration and frequency. This is not the complete form. So the basic question is how we can find the effort level. How we can find that most of the people can exert or cannot exert this effort. So one of the way that seems a little difficult is that effort levels were chosen as a percent of maximum strength in the posture used and were as follows. So low for less than 40% of maximum, moderate for 40 to less than 70% of maximum, and heavy for greater than or equal to 70% of maximum strength required for that task. But it seems actually difficult to do that. An easy solution is to use the BOD scale, especially the CR10 scale, in order to find the effort level required. So we can use this scale. I will show the scale in the next slide, and whatever score we get from the BOD scale, we can multiply that by 10 to convert that effort level into percentage. This is the scale that we just saw in the previous segment. So for example, if the score is 5 for the effort level, so this 5 is on a scale of 10, we can multiply it with 10, so that will be approximately 50% of the effort level. But important point is that we may have to use it for all the muscles that are involved if we don't have other way to decide this percentage. As you saw that there are different body parts like neck, shoulders, and back, and so on involved. So, but this is a reliable method to use this CR10 scale. And whatever score we get, multiplied with 10 to find the percentage, and then assign a score of 1, 2, or 3. For example, if we get a percentage of 50, so that will be a score of 2, because this is 1, 2, and this is 3. Each of the MFA factors, the greatest level is 4. That means that factor alone is significant. Factor alone is significant. So I'll come back to this point in. There is sufficient reason to assign a 4 and a very high priority for change. If the effort level is high enough that most workers cannot accomplish it, so effort level, first factor. So if that is having this score that is greater than 70%, then we will assign a score of 4. Or for the second factor, that was effort duration, if that is greater than 30 seconds, if continuously an effort is to be applied for greater than 30 seconds, if there is no break during those 30 seconds, so we will assign a score of 4. And similarly for the third factor, that was frequency, if that is greater than 15 per minute, so we will assign a score of 4. So if either of these three factors has a score of 4, that will result in very high priority for change. So this is something we have already seen. So there are different body regions. So we are focusing on neck muscles, shoulder muscles, back muscles, arm and elbow, wrist, hands, and fingers. For shoulders, arms and elbows, and wrists, hands, and fingers, we have to evaluate both right and left counterpart and then assign the 3-digit code. So this is the assessment sheet. This is again not complete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 muscles, and we have 2 more. Legs and knees and ankles and feet. Same factors, effort level, duration, and frequency. And here you can see that if continuous effort duration is less than 6 seconds, we assign a score of 1. For 6 to 20 seconds, a score of 2. For 20 to 30 seconds, a score of 3. And for greater than 30 seconds, a score of 4. Frequency, if it is less than 1 minute, a score of 1. 1 to 5 minutes, a score of 2. For greater than 5 and 15 up to 15 per minute, it is 3. And for greater than 15 minutes, it is 4. So if we get 4 for either of these 3, the priority for change will be very high. And that is something we can see from this table. So these scores from 1, 1, 1, so again 1 for effort level, effort duration, and effort frequency. P12 is showing a score of 3 for effort level, 1 for effort duration, 2 for effort frequency. So the priority for change is moderate here, it is high here. And if we get 4 for any of these 3 factors, the priority for change will be very high. The priority for change will be very high for a score of 323, 331, 332, or if there is 4 anywhere for these 3 factors. So we can see easily from here the least fatiguing combination are at the top left. So these values on the top left show a very good task that is very safe, and the highest are at the end of the list on the right side. So of course these are the highest fatiguing tasks if some task gets a score in this range. So when a solution is chosen to improve the task, it is important to rate the new task with the same tool to be sure the fatigue has been dropped to a lower level. So as soon as we move to the top or left, the task becomes much safer. So the top left are the best scores, the bottom right or these ones are the worst scores. So note that a combination of 3 for duration and 3 for frequency is not possible. So just notice this point because of these two. So if, for example, effort duration is 30 seconds, then frequency will be say that will be twice per minute. So that will be a score of 2 and vice versa. So we cannot have these uh, scores of 3 for each of these two factors, effort duration and effort frequency. So just think over it. So this method is suitable for tasks that need fewer than 12 to 15 repetitions per minute with the same muscle groups. And it is not suitable for occasional tasks like occasional lifts. And it is also not very suitable where frequency is greater than 30 per minute. So in that case, it underestimates actually the accumulated fatigue. So we can directly assign a score of 4 in that case. But that is the same score 4 even if this frequency is 40 or 50 or whatever. So this method can be used. It works best if all of the muscle groups are rated for each task, not just the ones that appear to be most involved. So it is better to evaluate all the muscles that are in the list, because some of the less heavily loaded muscles have a combination of holding time and frequency of use that makes them more vulnerable. So duration might be less, but effort might be heavy, or effort might be light, but duration might be long. So they can interact with each other. So it is better to use or rate all muscle groups that are in the sheet. So once there are improvement in the task, it is important to re-rate the tasks to see the level of improvement that has resulted. So we will discuss example in the following segment, in the following lecture, but there are many advantages of this method. It is easy to use. It stimulates discussions. It evaluates all major muscle groups, and it suggests, for example, strategies for improvement. It prioritizes tasks for improvements and so on. It is a semi-quantitative method. So effort level is sort of defined subjectively, but two factors are quantitative. So that is why it is called semi-quantitative method. Some information is to be gathered. Focus is on muscle cycle instead of task cycles. And it is less effective if done by one analyst rather than a team of people on the production floor. So we will discuss the example of the use of MFA in the following segment, but you only need paper and pencil, video tapes to record the videos, to measure the effort duration and effort frequency. Stopwatch might be required, and you might require the 10-point scale to find